Hey, it's Aaron. Today I'm with a 2022 Toyota Tacoma. This in particular is the TRD Pro model. A couple things changed for this vehicle this year. For the most part, it's still the same Tacoma that's been around for, I don't know what it is now, 5 or 6 years in this rendition. And I might be wrong on that. Whatever, doesn't matter. Point is, only a couple of changes. Most everything else has pretty much stayed the same. Particular changes to the TRD Pro. Bilstein shock upgrade. So the shocks are a new model of Bilstein, so they've changed from previous renditions. Otherwise, this is a very capable little mid-sized truck. Has a couple of downers. If you're familiar with the Tacoma already, then you already know what the Taco's downsides are, but I will, point them out anyway. Other than that, this is a nicely capable little truck. You have two different engine options. The one in this is a 3.5 liter V6. You can also get a 4-cylinder. That's mostly in the SR and SR5 models, the two low end. After that, you are most likely going to end up with this V6. So, yeah, let's talk about design. Check out this awesome lime color. This is the coolest color ever. And yeah, well, just really quick, this is not gonna be a very long video. Let's go.
Hey, this is Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com. And today's review is brought to you by Stop Soldier Suicide. Find the link below, click, and donate. Appreciate it.
All right, what we're looking at other than this wonderful lime, just neon green color, this is so great, is the TRD Pro and the Tacoma. So body lines are pretty straightforward, but very, very robust. So trying to make this look like a tough truck. So you have a very, very deep crease here to accentuate the lower end and also to accentuate how much ground clearance there is here. There's a lot of it. Fender up here, very well defined and very clear, comes off of the headlight, runs down like this. And then these are added, of course, to give even more clearance between the tire and the top of the well. Then you have the Tacoma badging, of course, and the belt line, which starts right about here, just fades in and runs all the way along the bodywork. Curves up at the back. This is a Toyota thing. You'll find the same thing on the bigger Tundra. Curves up like this, comes up here and kind of fades out, creating the circle around the greenhouse. I've talked about that circle with vehicles before. Very, very common motif. Makes the greenhouse look bigger than it is and more integrated, I think is the word we look for. So it looks like it's supposed to be there. That keeps the sill from being the break point on the greenhouse. It moves that break point down and up, makes it look a little better. So roof is pretty flat. Back wall is actually pretty flat, surprisingly. But then back here you have that same fender line that was up there happening back here. Fades in, fades out, or the other way around, however you want to put it. And then, of course, the big clearance. The TRD Pro is stamped in now. Used to be a sticker badge. Same on the back. The Tacoma is stamped in and then filled in. I'll show you that in a minute. So, nice little design, decently done. Bed is small, but it's a small truck. You can't expect a whole lot. I will say that I've been in smaller trucks that have bigger interiors. So the Tacoma should not be mistaken for a bigger truck, even though, even with this crew cab, the back seats and the front seats, still pretty tight. Let's go check out the working end a little bit. Talk about a couple of the things that are happening on the TRD Pro package, and then I think we're done. So back here on the working end, I was talking about the Tacoma being stamped in. So it is stamped in and then these plastic letters are glued onto that. That creates kind of a three-dimensional look to the Tacoma badge there. And then you have the 4x4 and the TRD Pro. These come by default with the towing package. So if you get certain packages of the Tacoma, it will come by default with towing, TRD included. The four-wheel drive on the TRD is not standard. That's some interesting. but you can add it. So back here you have your handle for it. You have a little bit of a spoiler right here for that, and then soft close opening, which you will not find on a couple of the competitors' vehicles. Ford, which I don't understand why this isn't included on everything. It's literally like $2 to put a spring-loaded hinge on these, but whatever. Anyway, with this, you have the quick release latches right here, so you can quickly take these off. You can also, so this whole thing can come off fairly easily. Then you have this garbage plastic bed liner. It's garbage. These things, you slip all over the place, your load goes all over the place. They're terrible. They promote rust underneath. They're just, I don't know why Toyota keeps using them. They suck. This one at least has this rubber mat to go on top of it. There's a rock for at least some sort of help. D-ring tie downs around the corners, upper D-rings in the front, and then these sliding ones on the side bed. I believe these are an add-on. I think you have to add them. I don't think they come standard, but wonderful setup. You have a 110 or 120 outlet over there. I think it's 115. It's in the middle of 110 and 120. There you go. There's a household outlet over there, and there's also some interesting little things that were thought of in the making of this. Right here is a spot for a 2x6 to go across. Over here is another one for a 2x6 to go across if you need to hold something down or put something on top. You also have these creases here lining up with same size creases here, so you could run a board like this to create dividers. So little things like that are nicely thought of, and one of the only boons to this garbage plastic bed liner. I would say let's go get inside it, and I guess we will, but honestly, that's the downest point of this whole truck. If you didn't know, it is a cold fall day. It's like 45 degrees outside, so it's not terrible in terms of temperature, but then we have this wind that's subtracting about 10 off of that. It's making it very, very cold. Anyway, interior here. Little too compact. The seating position is odd. You see how much my legs stretch out? Hopefully you can see that. Your legs just stretch out too much for this to really be a truck. Feels more like a car, which sounds good until you go off-road. And then you realize that you're all over the place because you really can't plant your foot right. Other things to note, this has pretty good headroom, pretty decent for the size. I'm kind of surprised. I have about an inch left up there. I'm 6'3", but a couple of older things, throwbacks that are still going on in here. Your squid launcher back here, that button's a rocker switch. It's a big hefty thing. You still have the old Toyota cruise control dongle, which is, I mean, it's not terrible, but you're still kind of, it seems kind of half-baked because you got that going on. But then for the adaptive cruise, those buttons are up here. It's kind of a, it's like a last minute, okay, we better throw this in there thing. Hasn't been updated in a while. You have your transfer case controls over here, so 4 high, 4 low, and so on. And you have that electric rear window and a few other things that are nice in here. The seats themselves are pretty great. I just wish they were positioned better. This also has a JBL stereo, which is a good stereo. It sounds really good. Biggest downer is that the truck brings in a lot of highway noise. Mostly it's those knobby tires. There's really not a whole lot you can do about that. So that detracts from the stereo a little bit because there is no noise deadening happening. Some vehicles I've been in that have that problem, the stereo makes up for it by basically emitting noise canceling at the frequencies that sound of tires coming into the cabin makes. Toyota's not doing that. I do love the multi-positional circular air vents. Those are like a favorite thing of mine. You find them throughout the Toyota lineup. They're in this, the RAV4, a couple other vehicles, and they're just extremely adjustable and usable. Very, very nicely done. Back seat, I'm not going to bother getting in it. I don't fit. And I'm not even going to try. What I'm going to tell you is that they are compact. Those are not big back seats, despite this being a crew cab. So just keep that in mind. Your bigger friends and relatives are not going to fit back there. Your kids will be just fine though. So yeah, I think we're done. Let's go wrap this up. Okay, so that's the 2022 Toyota Tacoma in the TRD Pro package. Bilstein shock upgrades, the biggest thing that happened this year. It's kind of a big deal. Performance-wise, as far as bouncing around out here in the country a little bit, I don't feel a whole ton of difference, but I do think that they are a nice upgrade. These Goodyear Wranglers are excellent tires for a vehicle like this, and the four-wheel drive system is still pretty top-notch. You have a lot of reach with these wheels, more than you would probably expect, but you don't have the kind of clearances where you can do like just out of the factory like this, rock climbing, things like that. You're probably not going to pull that off. But if you were to switch out a couple of things, if you were to change out this bumper here, if you were to possibly give it a lift, you probably wouldn't even need more than an inch or so, inch and a half lift. Something small, you wouldn't need a whole lot. Give it a little bit of a lift to improve that breakover, which is already pretty good. And then replace that rear bumper so you have something that has more like this. And then nix those exhaust pipes. They need to be going up, not down. Those exhaust pipes kill a whole lot of your departure back there. So a couple of changes that really wouldn't be a big deal to pull off, and no major factory alterations to make that stuff happen. And if you do that, you could have a really serious off-road rig. Great little 6-cylinder engine. The 3.5 puts out a good amount of power, and it's in a nice predictable band, which is great off-roading. Also, the four-wheel drive system is extremely well done. It defaults to 50-50, but it's really good at vectoring, so you end up with your power where you need it back and forth. So just a wonderful setup. This is I mean, get a load of the color. Holy crap, I love this color. This is great. Toyota has a couple of colors. This one, there's like an orange that's really awesome. It's kind of a burnt fire orange. Yeah, a couple of these colors are just awesome, right? So anyway, there you go. Throw a roof rack on this, get your gear in the back. You could go to town with this, have a pretty good time. So that's what I got. This has been Aaron, 2022 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. And that's it. I'll talk to you again soon.
Subscribe.